We always think of the fall season as being the one where we have beautiful foliage colors and a lot of perennials and grasses. We don't think of it in terms of either shrubs or trees that bloom in late summer or early fall. We don't have many, but the ones we do add a completely different dimension to the landscape. Let's start with Seven Suns shrub or tree in full flower and covered with butterflies. This happens every single year. Typically the bloom time is September-ish, and then the calyces, or the part of the flower that holds the flower, turns a brilliant, brilliant red. So this is one example of something that can add a lot of color to that late summer, early fall landscape without having all sorts of perennials and grasses. We also can talk a little bit about Beautyberry, and this is one that is a little bit different. This is Purple Pearls, which is a newer one. You can see that it is beginning to flower as opposed to ending, and that's a handful of these little tiny clusters in the leaf axils. Then it is followed by beautiful purple fruits. So while the flowers are not entirely showy, again, this is a shrub that adds a dimension to the landscape in the fall. A little known but absolutely spectacular summer or fall blooming shrub is this one, which is Thunberg's Lespedeza. This happens to be the cultivar Gibraltar. And imagine in the spring of the year, there is nothing here. This is a suffrutescent plant like butterfly bush, so this goes from 0 to this in a single season. It's in the bean family, so you can see those classic pea-like flowers. It's a nitrogen fixer, interesting little small triple leaves on it, and Gibraltar is known for its fountain-like appearance. This is one that, if you have the space, really adds a great accent and a huge amount of space with only a single plant in the late summer or the fall. We talk about seed heads and fruits a lot as being something that adds fall and winter interest, and we'll probably do that on the winter show. This is smoke tree or smoke bush, and what you're looking at is actually the plume of the seed head. The flowers are long gone. A lot of people think this open panicle that looks like smoke is actually the flower. This will not remain on the plant for very long, but it certainly adds another dimension to the landscape. If you were lucky enough to be able to have shrub roses that survived all of those attacks of Japanese beetles, remember that shrub roses were bred to be able to bloom and bloom and bloom, and many of them go into kind of that last blast in August and September and even into October and November, throwing beautiful flowers. And one final comment, and that of course would be butterfly bush, which is again one of those great summer into fall, into late fall flowering plants, especially if you do a little bit of deadheading. So this is the time of year to wander about outside, take a look at what you think is really spectacular in September. Think about planning for that in your landscape or in your garden come 2018.